Yeah. Hello, dear guests. Welcome to the 8th International Scientific Conference. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Almina Durakovic Koroshets. I was the person who was in contact with you for the last 3 months or so. And I want to, first of all, kindly thank you for your interest to participate at our international conference. The first one was held in a long time ago in 2009, and this has been growing pretty much um, very fast. And this year we are having a really great amount of scientists and researchers, and we are very much happy about that. The main theme is, of course, sustainability and society 5.0, because as a faculty of design, we are very much passionate about sustainability in much broader context. And in the frame of that, we want to invite all of you with great minds, great ideas to share your papers with various contexts with us. And therefore, I want to thank you again. I want to start today with an online presentation. Maybe there are going to be some changes in the follow-up because some of you are not yet online, and therefore we're going to start with the participants who are online. I have a colleague behind me. His name is Doman, and maybe sometimes you're going to hear a sound. He's going to just suggest me who is online, and so we can put this online streaming as smooth as possible. I want to emphasize as well, please keep in mind that for online presentation, we want to keep in time frame of 10 minutes. And also, if you are going to have some questions for anyone who is going to be presenting, there is a section on the right bottom corner. You can write a question, and we're going to have a question and debate at the end of all presentations. So in order not to forget what you want to ask, keep in mind that you can always write anything you want for the presenter at any time in order not to forget what you want to ask. Um, Before we're going to start, I just want to say again, thank you and good luck with all your presentations. And if there is something I probably forgot to say, I do apologize in advance. Since we had a live presentation throughout the day and it was quite intensive, but I'm all fresh and ready to host you through online session. So thank you again. And Sanah, I would kindly invite you if you are ready. They say ladies first. We never met, but we are collaborating now for so many years, and I'm so happy that you are among us as well. If you're ready, I would really be really happy if you can present your paper. If you let me to read your paper title, An Investigation into Effectiveness of a Design Thinking Infused Curriculum within IBPAP Framework. Please welcome.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much, Almina. I just want to see if I can present my screen first. Okay. Okay. Just give me a minute.
Mhm. Mhm. I'm not sure, are there any hiccups technical in that matter? Vanya, are you maybe with us?
And can you hear me? Yes.
Oh, hello. Hello,
Hello.
Vanya. Uh,
Okay. I will.
welcome. If you don't mind, if you could start in case when if
Yeah,
some
yeah.
some problems, I would just like to briefly introduce your paper and then we can run smoothly through your presentation.
Yes.
And in between, maybe you can prepare your presentation online so you can then later on share your screen.
Yes.
So with us is a PhD candidate, Vanya Bajovic. She comes from Serbia, Belgrade, from Faculty of Applied Arts, and the title of her paper is Paper Waste, Use and Innovative Suggestions on Making New and More Ecological Paper Receipts Design. Suggestions, online receipts, or designated recycling bins in shops.
So, can you see my screen?
I can see you clearly, yeah, and hear you as well.
My screen, you can
No,
see.
your screen, not just you.
Okay. I don't know how to share it now. I just present. Yes. Okay. Can you see now?
Just a moment, please. Yes, we can see your poster.
Yeah. So that is I can start. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
So I aim to analyze how the paper receipts system in Serbia operates, propose feasible solutions to the problem of paper waste, and explore recycling methods, all based on a survey conducted among residents of Belgrade. So, to form suggestions on making a more ecological environment, less paper waste, and new design, I asked the people of Belgrade for some help. Namely, I formed a questionnaire that focused on two key questions. The first one was what do you do with paper receipts after receiving them in stores? And revealed that 60% of respondents discard the receipts immediately after leaving the store, and the other 40% dispose of the receipt as soon as they verify its accuracy. So the second question, that was the first one, and the second question was how can we improve or innovate the receipt system to reduce paper waste? And the proposed solutions included first redesign receipt format. So you can see it on the fourth picture with the green background, and it would be actually only a square receipt with just a barcode. And some sources say that paper receipts are not recyclable because they are usually actually printing on thermal paper, which contains some chemicals. That is why they are unsuitable for recycling. But receipts are also printing on blue paper made for from sustainable crops. So in Europe, there are containers for mixed garbage where the recipes are going usually. But in Serbia, there are some containers for wet and for dry waste. But most of garbage, unfortunately, ends up in the same place, and that goes into water, land, and in air. Thermal paper, as I mentioned, has multiple layers. We can see it on the first picture, and research shows that thermal recipes contain BPA or biphenyl, chemical used to make plastic, and this chemical is not good, even toxic. Some might ask themselves, how can we know if the reciped paper is thermal or not? Well, there is a simple way to find that out. Namely, one can scratch the receipt with a metal coin, as you can see on the third picture, and if it changes color, it's likely that it has phenol, and it's not recyclable, but is actually for mixed trash. So the first solution, as I said, would be actually redesign receipt format, a square receipt with just a barcode. Then comes the other solution. The second one is a mobile application that automatically generates digital receipts and displays itemized prices. E-receipts do not generate paper waste and can be stored electronically, which makes them easier to manage. It would be a good solution if every country had an application and database where each customer could have a profile and access to everything they bought. With the digitalization of documents, books, and even banking accounts and credit cards, we don't see why we have space and use of electronic receipts. So you can see here a solution for an application design. I use soft pink and green for the color of an application icon. And the idea behind this is that each country should have an application and database using this design, or the new one if this doesn't fit. And on the picture left and right, we can see the basic look of the home application home page, actually, with a message in Serbian language translated as a message, save the nature, or else it would be the end of the receipt. In the other words, the end of excessive deforestation, the end of nature, actually. The third solution is the last one, and it's a design recycling bin. Design recycling bins in shops where people can put or throw in their receipts if they don't need them. It is actually a simple and inexpensive solution that can be implemented immediately in any place in the country. The design of this bin is very simple and readable. It is a cardboard box with a tree on its front, and it has a message that says put your receipts here and in green. It is actually adaptable to any language, and the receipt box could stay beside the cash board, so it would be accessible to every customer. At the end of the day, or when the receipt box is full, receipts from the receipt box could be transformed could be transferred to the paper box center, for example, every Friday or every Sunday, depending on community agreement, and every country could devise its system of organization. Because I am involved in artist books, I actually made one out of receipts. I use glue to bring together two receipts, so we can see it on the last picture. It is a small book with 20 glued receipts as its pages. Some of them are in the original look, but some of them have a black texture made by ironing receipts. And this texture make the book look more dynamic and balances all the black and white spaces and the letters and numbers that are already on receipts. So people can read it as an art object, but they can also find out, for example, what the groceries and stores are that one has and go to. And it can also be looked as a customer's journal. So yeah, that would be all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Vanya. I think your paper is very interesting. So many layers of actually not just receipts, but actually trans all these chemicals who are penetrating through the skin when receiving a receipt. Also, I think they mentioned that when you desanitize your hands, you multiply penetration through your skin hundreds times. It's something that I just read like maybe 2 weeks ago or something, and I think this is really, really a great subject for discussion in the context of sustainability. I really kindly thank you for your paper and for presenting it. And in the case of our next presenters are going to have any kind of questions, I highly encourage you to write something at the bottom, and then we're going to make a discussion at the end of all presentations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if Sana, if you have managed to maybe solve any technical problems, I would kindly invite you to join us again. Hello, Sana.
Hi. Yes,
Hi.
I think I can share now. Let me just see if, which please let me know if it's working. Can you see my screen?
It's happening. Yes, it's up there. We can see it.
All right.
Just make it full screen if possible.
Yeah, is that working now?
Let me see. Not yet. Maybe you can leave it outside of full screen. It's a suggestion from my dear technical friend Doman.
Okay, is this better?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I'm Sana Sharma, and I'm going to be presenting my research on an investigation into the effectiveness of a design thinking infused curriculum within the IB-PYP framework. So we will just briefly go over the introduction, the literature around this, the research methodology that was used, the curriculum design and the implementation strategies, the findings and discussion, recommendations, and finally the conclusion of the study. Now, for some background, we look at how design thinking has been gaining prominence in K-12 education specifically, and how it contributes to fostering 21st century skills like creative problem solving, collaboration, and adaptability, which make it suitable for integrating it within curriculums within school. Now, in terms of the research aims and objectives, we are looking at seeing how integrating a design thinking model within an IB baccalaureate primary years program could be effective. And we look at the impact of such a curriculum on teaching and learning. Further, we look at how this influences student learning outcomes and the development of 21st century skills. And finally, we look at assessing what challenges come about and what are the key successes of this framework. So the scope of this study is a single case study within an IB-PYP school in Hyderabad, which is called the Sri Ram Academy. And while specific to this context, the insights would be valuable for various stakeholders, and this study could also contribute to a broader global discussion on educational innovation, as well as the role of design thinking within it. Now we look at the foundations of design thinking being a human-centered and iterative problem-solving methodology, which prioritizes understanding user needs in a specific context. This is a 5-step process, and it is known to foster metacognition in learners as well. When we look at the IB-PYP framework, it aims to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring individuals with its core elements in inquiry-based learning, transdisciplinary themes, and approaches to learning. So there is definitely a commonality between these two. And we look at basically the key commonalities that we work with a constructivist approach, transdisciplinary learning, inquiry-based learning, student agency, and real-world application. Now, that having said, we did see that there were some research gaps that existed, especially around how this integration could happen systematically, and where there were limitations in exploring teacher perspectives and practical challenges within the IB PYP context specifically. Now, the research methodology that we employed was a mixed methods case study approach, and it allowed us to gather both qualitative and quantitative data. And the study that we did was conducted at the school itself, the Sri Ram Academy, where we developed and piloted a design thinking infused curriculum. And this curriculum is currently in its second year of implementation. So data was collected from teachers through interviews and surveys, and this was analyzed using a thematic analysis and a descriptive statistics, which was then triangulated for robust findings. Now, when we were looking at designing the curriculum and implementing it, we had some key aspects that went into the planning of this. First, we outlined the purpose of integration, which is very key. And then in terms of that, how do we align the resources that are required and the infrastructure that is required for the execution? Further, we assessed what the teacher abilities were in the existing model and came up with a facilitation model for this. We also looked at the timelines of the academic year and what kind of integration models would be suitable. And finally, we looked at student capabilities and the kind of scaffolding that would be required. So the figure that you see on the screen here is a progressional mapping of DT skills across the PYP grades. Now, the findings and the discussions are derived both from the qualitative and quantitative data, and we'll go through them thematically. So we noticed that over 95% teachers agreed that design thinking infused processes did enhance student engagement, and they did see that students were also using design thinking terminology, which indicated that they did have a deeper understanding of the process. We also corroborated this with classroom observations, which showed an increased level in curiosity as well. We looked at then the skills that were developed, and we saw that 90% teachers stated that the DT-infused curriculum was able to significantly enhance problem solving and critical thinking skills. It also demonstrated abilities in students around analyzing problems, brainstorming for solutions, and especially working collaboratively as a team. There were two key challenges that we faced, however, that were particularly to do around the time constraints, to do with the timelines, and in terms of teacher preparedness as well. So this indicated a need for additional support for teachers and more professional development for them as well. Now, when it came to the emotional responses, we had about 80% of our teachers were responding with satisfaction when students were able to successfully engage in the process. And typically frustrations that we noticed were around the logistical barriers alone, not specifically to do with the practices of the implementation. Now, we also saw that about 85% teachers agreed that students demonstrated resilience and enthusiasm while immersed in this process. So based on what our findings were, we suggest adopting a merged curriculum model and ensuring flexible timelines for key processes within the DT stages. And also look at how design thinking can align with the existing curriculum and integrate it thematically with the IB framework. We also suggest for grade-wise differentiation and progressional learning through scaffolding, and to ensure collaborative learning, as well as looking at specific skill building workshops, particularly for the prototyping phases of the design thinking process, and to finally then assess this in a more process-oriented manner with a process-oriented rubric. For future direction, this could be applied school-wide beginning with deploying it throughout the PYP curriculum throughout the year as well, and sharing these resources and best practices with other schools, and further exploring the implementation of such a model in higher grades as well, moving to middle years as well, and to conduct longitudinal impact studies to look at the effectiveness in the long term. So finally, this study does demonstrate that design thinking has transformative potential within the IB-PYP framework, and we see that the key findings are a significantly enhanced student engagement and the cultivation of 21st century skills. We also see that there is a lot of application of learning with real world context, which makes that learning a lot more robust. And we see that while there are challenges, these can be mitigated through the best practices that we have outlined. And finally, that it has been rather transformative for us to see how powerful a pedagogical tool design thinking has been, and how well it has aligned with the IB-PYP framework and its emphasis on inquiry, student agency, and real-world relevance as well. And it has also shown us that it contributes significantly in cultivating adaptable, innovative thinkers that are prepared for the complexities of the future. And that's about it. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm happy to take any questions that anyone may have.
Perfect. Sana, thank you so much for this very condensed presentation full of information, and you can see a really in-depth work that is behind. I really appreciate you sharing all the data. It's really interesting to see this application of design thinking in a broader context in a different way, and something to ponder about. And I really appreciate you sharing your great paper. Saying that, I would
Thank
also,
you.
because I know you're really, really passionate, just like myself, about zero waste,
Yes.
that we have hosted live today a few scientists from Maribor, from Belgrade, from Maribor, which is the second largest town in Slovenia, talking about different application of zero waste and projects. And I know that you will be enjoying reading those papers when we're going to publish the book of proceedings. And I will not to implement your first paper from the last year, so I always keep that in mind.
Thank
And
you so much.
as a suggestion, maybe for future, maybe possible collaboration, we can do something in that frame, if you would be interested.
For sure. Yes, of course.
Perfect. I really thank you so much for your nice energy and presentation and all the hard work. And as I said, we will be setting the questions at the end of all the presentations, and we keep in touch afterwards. Thank you so much for now.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect. So as I read now on the right side, Doman has already spoken with PhD Mr. August Ozbek, who is with us from Pamukkale University, Turkey. Hello, Mr.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you perfectly. I'm just going to read the title of your paper, if you don't mind. The title is Smart City Integration in Regional Development Planning, Lessons and Critical Insights from Turkey's TR32 region. Thank you for joining us, and please continue with your presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm Oğuz Özbek from Pamukkale University. Do you see my presentation?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I can start. I'd like to extend my sincere gratitude to the organizing committee of the conference for this opportunity, and convey warm greetings from Turkey to all distinguished participants gathered here today.
Thank you.
Okay. Our study examines smart city integration in regional development strategies in Turkey, Aydın, Muğla, and Denizli provinces. Smart city initiatives are increasingly important in addressing urban and regional challenges, especially in developing economies. We examined the TR32 region through the Southern Region Development Agency, the regional plan from 2010 to 2028. Our research focused on how smart city strategies have evolved their integration with regional development goals and persistent implementation challenges. Smart cities contribute to regional development by improving public service delivery, enhancing technology access, and increasing local economic attractiveness. The literature emphasizes that successful implementation require balancing technological innovation with social inclusion, addressing spatial inequalities, and establishing collaborative governance mechanisms. TR32 region consists of Aydın, Denizli, Muğla provinces with 3.2 million people and a higher GDP per capita than many other Turkish regions. Its diverse economic structure with Denizli as an industrial center, Muğla focus on tourism, and Aydın combining agriculture with processing and tourism create both opportunities and the challenges for smart city implementation. As illustrated in figure 1, we can observe the regional distribution of gross domestic product per capita Turkey's NUTS2 regions of 2022. The TR32 region, highlighted in the southwestern part of Turkey, falls within the second highest GDP category. This economic status is significant when considering smart city implementation, as it indicates relatively stronger financial resources compared to many other regions in Turkey. The map clearly shows the economic disparities across Turkey. Western regions generally have higher GDP per capita than eastern regions. These economic variations influence the capacity to implement and sustain smart city initiatives. Our analysis examines 3 consecutive GECA plan. 2010-2013 plan focused primarily on technological infrastructure. 2014-2023 plan evolved toward more integrated strategies. And the draft 2024 and 2028 plan shows greater attention to sustainability and comprehensive transformation. This evolution reflects growing sophistication in approaching smart city initiatives within regional development framework. Despite evolution across planning periods, 3 persistent challenges remain: technological bias, urban-rural disparities, and limited public participation. As seen in this table, the 2010-2013 plan focused on digital infrastructure expansion and technology-based initiatives. Included a narrow technological focus, insufficient social impact assessment, a limited institutional capacity buildings, and inadequate consideration of regional differences. While establishing basic digital capabilities, the plan showed limited attention to human and social factors. 2014 and 2023 plan introduced more sophisticated elements, including smart mobility and innovation ecosystem development. However, problem persisted with urban-rural development gaps, limited stakeholder participation, weak social inclusion framework, and implementation capacity constraint. Despite introducing more comprehensive approaches, the plan faced significant challenges in institutional capacity and the coordination. The draft 2024-2028 plan attempts to balance technological development with broader needs through a comprehensive digital transformation strategy and sustainability-focused solutions. Yet challenges continue. Technological bias remains, urban-rural disparity risk persists, public participation mechanisms are limited, and social impact frameworks are incomplete. These persistent issues require fundamental changes in planning approaches. The technological bias manifests in several ways. Project selection criteria favor technological outputs over social outcomes. Monitoring framework emphasize technical metrics without adequate social impact indicators. And technological solutions often supersede institutional capacity building. This reflects broader tendencies in smart city planning that require more integrated socio-technical framework. Urban-rural disparities in smart city implementation extend beyond geographic distribution to include gaps in technical expertise, financial resources, and institutional capacity between urban and rural municipalities. These factors collectively widen developing gaps in the region's diverse landscape, threatening to reinforce existing inequalities rather than addressing them. Despite stated commitments to stakeholder engagement, planning processes follow top-down approaches with limited incorporation of local knowledge. Technical complexity creates barrier to meaningful engagement, particularly for disadvantaged groups. Effective smart city initiatives should utilize technology to collect citizen feedback and transform it into actionable planning insights. The TR32 region experience demonstrates that technological development must balance with social equity, cultural preservation, and participatory governance. Future research should develop tools that integrate technological and social considerations, improve social impact measurement, ensure equitable benefit distribution, and strengthen public participation. Thank you for your attention. I welcome any questions about research.
Thank you so much for the Slovene input at the last slide. I really wanted to thank you for this really complex presentation. It's really nice to see that what is going on, and it's really, really intense. And maybe I have just one question. When you have been presenting just shortly,
Okay.
I'm interested how much does public gets involved so far in making this kind of decisions when it comes to reshaping their environment in this region? Is this more from top down, like government down, or if they are like in some kind of discussion with the public?
Thank you for this insightful question. I think that is the most important thing is the public participation in smart city implementation. Turkey public administration is traditionally more centralized structure. This negatively affect public participation especially in the smart city projects in the Turkey. Development agencies in Turkey, unfortunately, is not completely independent institutions. That reason, we have more independent institutional structures in this issue.
Thank you very much. I was quite interested in that, but thank you for sharing that, and thank you for the great presentation. I'm sure some of the participants will raise some questions afterwards, but for now, I really dearly thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. If I am not mistaken, next one is with us, PhD candidate, lecturer Karli Varli. Did I pronounce it well?
I'm gonna say unfortunately not. It's çağrı, so it's really different because in Latin it's letters do not exist. So yeah.
I do apologize.
No, it's okay. I'm used to. Thank you, even if you try. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I will just quickly read your title. So, socio-material relationships in alternative food networks, a more than a human approach to packaging and distribution. I warmly thank you for participating, and please go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. So I will try to use my time limits accordingly. So I am Çağrı. Hello again. I'm going to present a topic of a study which is related with my PhD. So its name is the socio-material relationship in alternative food networks, and this is a more than human approach to packaging and distribution practices of alternative food networks. So let's begin. So the growing complexities of global food systems underscore the need for innovative approaches that extend beyond our like conventional human-centered solutions. And alternative food networks, I will call them as AFNs during the presentation, emerge as a promising systems, and they offer like localized and sustainable practices that address both ecological and the social challenges we face with the mainstream food systems. And along the many ways AFNs distinguish themselves, their deliberate packaging and distribution practices actually stand out. And these practices involve materials and systems designed not only to minimize environmental impact, but also foster meaningful connections between the system actors. And this study actually investigates the roles and the value propositions of more than human entities in the packaging and distribution practices of AFNs. So to better understand the values and the operations of AFNs, this research builds on like these theoretical frameworks. The first is like, what is AFN? So AFNs like typically refer to systems that produce, distribute, and consume food that diverge from the mainstream industrial food system. Like few examples can be like community supported agriculture, box schemes, urban gardens, and etc. And they promote like ecological resilience and long-term sustainability by supporting agricultural diversity, local food production, direct consumer product and consumer producer relationships. And with these, they strengthen community ties and enhance food security and empower local economies. The second is the more than human approach. This one emphasizes that sustainability doesn't only concern people. It also involves like materials, plants, animals, even like microorganisms and like infrastructures that actively shape the food systems. And in AFNs, these non-human actors are essential parts of the network because they help us to co-produce trust, care, and sustainability alongside humans. And the third, the concept of socio-material networks, like this one helps us to see packaging and distribution not just as technical processes, but also like meaningful practices. And in AFNs, the reduced number of intermediaries creates a closer producer-consumer ties, and the things used in distribution play a key role in maintaining these relationships. They influence our like everyday practices, I will say. And the fourth one is thing ethnography. So thing ethnography offers a method to study how objects participate in shaping food networks. So instead of seeing packaging or like containers as a passive tools, this approach actually views them as an actors that structure interactions, like support sustainability goals and carry some like symbolic meanings. And altogether, these perspectives allows us to explore AFNs as dynamic relational systems where both humans and non-humans contribute to the building sustainable features, we will say. Okay. And here are my methodology. So this study uses a case study approach to examine how packaging and distribution systems function in real life context. So, and it focuses on two cases operating in and around Istanbul. The bold line represents the borders of the Istanbul city, and that both cases also use reusable deposit-based packaging and delivery systems. So, and that data is gathered through like 12 semi-structured interviews, 6 from each network, and alongside I used media analysis, website, and social media review when the TIG ethnography, of course, like which focuses on how objects shape social and ecological relationships in the system. So the case one, this is Farge Organic Farm. The pictures are from the farm, and it's founded in 2016. It delivers like a seasonal organic produce. They're using plastic crates and cardboard boxes to deliver their produce, and the farm emphasizes on ecological farming, local partnerships, and community-focused living. So, and the second case is Gündönümü Farm. This one is established in 2000. It's a quite old one, we can say. It specializes in raw milk. It follows regenerative practices and delivers milk in stainless steel churns and glass bottles, which you can see on the right side. And and the farm combines animal welfare, soil health, and the innovative cold chain logistics. And like Aysun is the owner of the farm, and the name of the brand is Aysun the Sütçü, and Sütçü means like milkman or milkwoman in Turkish. And this is her produce. So the case reasoning, like these two cases offer like some distinct examples of how packaging and distribution systems can reflect and reinforce AFN values. So for case one, Farge, what makes it relevant here, it's the use of like this deposit-based, like foldable plastic crates for fresh produce deliveries. And this system reflects a conscious effort to reduce packaging waste and integrate sustainable logistics to everyday distribution. For case two, the Gündönümü farm, what like makes this case particularly relevant is it's the use of the chrome-plated stainless steel milk churns as a part of the deposit system, and allowing farm to deliver fresh milk to consumers within like 12 to 24 hours. And the key findings of the study, before that, I should mention that for data analysis, I used thematic coding and identified these 5 key themes. And also the study revealed that like the reusable packaging systems in AFNs like go beyond simple logistics. They create some kind of like meaningful relationships between producers, consumers, and the materials, the object itself. And in terms of environmental sustainability, like both packaging types reduce waste, of course, but however, like user perceptions differ, because like stainless steel churns are associated with health and durability, while the plastic crates, although they're practical, they evoke some kind of like skepticism due to their material, the plastic. And also reusable systems also support community building. And these systems follow like a weekly rotation cycle where crates and churns are returned and reused again and again. And this rhythm actually fosters a sense of continuity and shared responsibility between users, between producers also. And consumers like feel part of a collective and recognizing the containers as shared tools of the system. And also there was a clear like cultural and aesthetic dimension. The churns remind users of traditional milk delivery, adding a part of like a nostalgia, how they used to do it at all times, and even like becoming part of the home decor because they are really well-designed objects also in these terms, how people refer to it. And in contrast, like the plastic crates are often seen as neutral or even like disposable in appearance because were not likely to keep them for a long time as a part of their daily activities, I would say. And from a functional perspective, like users appreciate the convenience of crates for organizing produce and freshness because it's signaled by the also steel churns, which like when it's cold, it starts to like small like cry drops outside of it. However, like the system requires both of them, like some kind of like pre-planning and presence at home or your office at delivery times, which not all users find easy. And lastly, the ethical implications, like users view their participation as an investment to sustainability and may encourage others like family and friends to join to the system and they see themselves and the producers as partners in this shared ethical project, I will call. And overall, this study highlights how packaging and distribution materials in AFNs act as social material agents that shape more than just the movement of the goods. And through their reuse, these materials build trust, they foster shared responsibility, they support like ethical and community-driven food practices. And the comparison of like plastic crates and the stainless steel chairs shows how material choices actually also carry some kind of like cultural meaning, and they also have an influence on user behavior and reinforce the values of the sustainability. And these findings also show that reusable systems create continuity, like a ritual, and encouraging long-term engagement with sustainable practices. So in summary, like packaging in AFNs is not merely about logistics. It's a meaningful part of how sustainable food systems are lived and felt and shared. And I would like to conclude my presentation with a saying of Levi Strauss: "Food must not only be good to eat, but also good to think." So, thank you for your time. Yeah.
Thank you very much for this traveling back uh, through our nostalgia and important things. Really important work you are doing. It seems like we all need to step 2 steps back before we are gonna go one step further. And
Yes.
I was really taken by your presentation in the sense of this. How would I say, the how we used to live like a few decades ago, and the importance of supporting local community and everything they do. And yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, actually, they're like now they're marketed as the things, maybe like innovative things for today, but actually they are not. Like if you go a few years back, few decades back, you can see really good examples how people involved in these kind of food systems. So there's a lot to learn and maybe like mimic from the past for the future. Yeah.
So much to learn again from our grandparents.
Yeah.
And when thinking about sustainability, when it was the only way of living, not some new phrase that everybody's talking about, and as innovative way of living, where it was the only way of living just a few decades ago.
Yeah,
I really thank you kindly for this lovely presentation and for sharing everything. And I'm sure we're going to set some questions for you at the end of all the presentations. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm reading on the right now, and as I see, if I'm not mistaken, is Julia with us?
Yes.
Yes,
Hi,
Julia?
good afternoon. Nice to meet you.
Let's see.
All right. Can you see my
if we
screen?
are going to be able to connect.
Okay.
Just a few moments. Oh, Julia, hello.
Yes. Hi, nice to meet you. Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you too, dear Julia. Sony is with us from Politecnico di Milano, Italy. Yes. The title of your paper, Julia, is Designing Distant Futures, the Role of Artifacts. I
Correct.
think we are all really impatient to see your presentation, and we really warmly welcome you to do so. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a really invaluable opportunity for me today to be here and to present my work. And it is also my first paper, so I'm pretty excited. So can you see the slides in full
Yes,
screen mode?
we
Okay,
can.
all right. Okay, so hello again. As you introduced me, I'm Giulia Lisoni, and I'm a recent master graduate in a double degree program between product service system design and management engineering in Politecnico di Milano. And today I'm presenting to you this work, which relied on my thesis, my master thesis, called Designing Distant Futures, the Role of Artifacts. So today I'm going to talk about the future. But I won't focus on what will happen in the future, but rather I will focus on how we, as humans, as human beings, can design the future. So future is a really inspiring concept, but it also posits complex challenges, of course. First of all, it's not here yet. And second, we now live in an era characterized by rapid and interconnected transformations. And this context, which goes under the acronym of VUCA, so volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, requires us to rethink the way we imagine and build the future. So my work stems from a fundamental belief, to cite Herbert Simon, in our world, predicting the future is no longer enough. And instead, as we are going to be part of the future, our task is not to predict it, but to design it. And in this perspective, the design world has created several practices for getting a grip on futures. One of these practices is discursive design, which is an approach that allows for the shaping of discourse through design, through the creation of objects, which primary purpose is to communicate ideas, communicate intents. So discursive design can be understood as an umbrella category encompassing similar forms of design. And to describe it, we will use a genus-species analogy. And what is similar across the main species, like critical design, speculative design, design fiction, and also experiential futures, is, as I said before, the use of design objects to spark debates and reflections. So the role of design, as we all know, was initially linked to aesthetic ideas, to intentionality, and also to human-centered practices. But now somehow this emphasis is shifting. Now design is also treated by organizations as a corporate resource to sustain innovation and gain competitive advantage. So we can say that design applies to future making as how organizational actors produce and enact the future in practice. Talking about future making literature, scholars distinguish two main approaches: the predictive approach, which relies on data and trends to predict plausible and possible scenarios, and on the right, imaginative approaches, which invite us to create desirable futures, going beyond the available data to imagine new possibilities. In parallel, we have a more cognitive dimension, the distinction between near and distant futures. So while near futures are those futures more immediate to capture and to think about because they're closer to what is happening today, distant futures instead are harder to glimpse, and they rely little on the probability of occurrence of something, but they rely on the willingness for it to happen and to make sense. They value people's ideals. So my work lies in this second approach, so the imaginative approach, which invites organizations to envision meaningful and desirable futures through a participatory approach, trying to imagine these distant futures under conditions of ambiguity. So this is where my research comes in, positioning design artifacts as a bridge between imagination and strategy, equipping organizations so with these performative tools that give form to abstract imaginaries of the future. Literature highlights, of course, the main ingredients of these design artifacts. First of all, their functionality, so how usable and practical these tools are in real-time settings. Engagement, so how actively and emotionally involved the participants become. Vision, so their capability to inspire long-term thinking. And finally, narrative, so how they facilitate storytelling. My research, of course, stems from the need to address some literature gaps. First of all, the fact that there is a general absence of practical tools. We know about design artifacts, but we don't know how these artifacts are done, are crafted, and are somehow connected with each other. And also there is, as I said at the beginning, insufficient integration between vision and strategy. So there's a gap between the ideation phase and the action phase. So my work investigates how do design artifacts enable organizations to create distant futures. So to address this question, my work's methodology combined both an ethnographic approach and a qualitative analysis, collecting data through from direct observations in organizational settings and also post-session interviews to understand how these artifacts influenced a co-creation process. And this data allowed me to analyze the artifacts across the four dimensions that I explained before. This framework basically allowed me to conduct a thematic qualitative analysis focusing on how these artifacts enabled or sometimes hindered also the co-creation of futures. So, putting in the center the concept of distant future, I found three main clusters of design artifacts. First of all, future navigators, which help map the context and provide an initial strategic guide, setting the direction by helping people exploring trends, beliefs, aspirations, values, and desires. The second cluster is about envisioning canvas, so the focus is more on the engagement and the creation of evocative narratives. And finally, future tales, which are designed to generate immersive and meaningful experiences. The stories generated from live experiences emphasize how ideas can produce dynamic and future stories. My analysis revealed three key roles of design artifacts. First of all, they are capable of fostering values and aspirations. They are able to translate these conceptual visions into symbolic narratives and tangible narratives. And finally, they facilitate narrative building. However, some challenges and some patterns also emerged, like sometimes it was difficult to maintain coherence between the initial values and the final outputs. Translating these discussions, these debates into concrete actions was challenging, and also navigating interdisciplinary collaboration in these organizational settings. So these findings basically inspired the definition of design artifacts as mediators between abstraction and action, as well as it puts the basis somehow to the creation of a more structured future-making process in organizational settings. So this process wants to aim to be an integrated design process created to support organizations in designing distant futures. Integrating design artifacts into an intuitive process for envisioning desirable futures. And it relates these three clusters representing interdependent elements in the circular and iterative process. As I said before, the three clusters of artifacts are future navigators, envisioning canvas, and future tales, which, as you can see, have different dimensions related to the key thematic framework. And the, let's say, the innovation of this model can be within the organization of these clusters, which are connected with phases ideate, visualize, and reflect. We see that they form a sort of loop. They reinforce and self-reinforce each other. So in the first phase, in ideate, future navigators and envisioning canvas collaborate to align exploratory insights with tangible perspectives, creating somehow the strategic foundation for future making. In visualize, envisioning canvas and future tales enrich and refine visions, adding narrative depth and thematic coherence. And finally, future tales and future navigators closed the loop in reflect, engaging in a strategic dialogue, identifying backcasting opportunities and inspiring new narratives. This research, to conclude, makes both theoretical and practical contributions. Theoretically, it redefines the role of design artifacts and it puts them at the center of organizational process as performative tools to bridge the gap between ideation and action. And also, practically, it aims to put the basis to the development of a structured model for these distant future-making processes. Of course, the study comes with limitations. First of all, that it's a qualitative study, so quantitative validation may be required for a more systematic testing of the model. Of course, the formalization of the model, the structuring of the model to identify the connections and to create a coherent framework to guide organizations, and also the fact that we are talking about design artifacts, but it would be useful to implement also prototype of products and services for the future. So to conclude, let me leave you with this thought. The future is not something, as I said at the beginning, that we predict. It's something we design. And through the design artifacts, we can turn uncertainty into opportunity, imagination into action, and visions into realities. So as we look towards distant futures and beyond, the question is no longer what will the future bring, but rather what kind of future do we want to create? And so the value of design has advanced from operational one to a aesthetical one to a more tactical one, so integrated also in the management field, which somehow is the soul of my double degree program between design and management. So I really understood what is the role of design in the management field, which is about conferring a system of rules, beliefs, values, and tools that will help leaders deal with the external environment under conditions of uncertainty. So thank you for your time and attention. I hope my work was clear and valuable.
Julia, thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Really great presentation. Listening to you, you appear so young and to be so clear in the way you think, in the way you present, and the way you put everything together. If young people think in and activate in the future and designing their future the way you elaborated, I think that we have all bright future. So thank you
you
so
very
much.
much.
This actually, it was like almost an activist design speech at the end. I really appreciate that. I think we need that kind of active participation for better future for all generation, and I really applaud you for this activist mindset. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was really an emotional moment for me, and I really love the fact that it passed somehow my enthusiasm and also the spirit of my work, which
Definitely.
I really believed in. Thank
And
you very much.
Prepared really, really well. You say that it was your first paper. I can just say it was really, really good. Thank you so much. You were amazing. Just
thank you. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Yes.
We're going to set up questions at the end. Stay with us. Thank you so much, Julia.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye. Bye. Have a nice
day. Bye. And now we are moving to our next presenter. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to probably pronounce it wrong, and I would expect for you to correct me. But with us is Professor Ya Jun Yue. So please say the way your real name is, because I probably say it wrong.
Hello, can you hear me voice?
We can hear you, we can see you, everything is perfect. I probably pronounced your name wrong. I do apologize.
Okay, good.
How do you pronounce it?
My name is Yue Yajun. You can call me Yajun.
Yajun.
Yes, good.
Perfect. So I'm going to just read the title of your paper, and if you don't mind, you can continue with your presentation. Professor is coming from Mongolian University of Science and Technology, China. And the title of the paper is Exploring the Visual Expression and Cultural Dissemination of Sustainable Design in Chinese Characters. Please go ahead with your presentation.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, distinguished research scholars. Today I will want to show the topic about exploring sustainable design of Chinese characters, visual expression, and culture communication. Rooted in Victor Papanic's socially responsible design principle, Chinese character sustainability evolved from 1990s green design practice. Our approach transcends environmental metrics, it remaining characters as temporal, spatial, and emotion vessels, expanding their role in culture ecosystem. Global Chinese learners grow by 15% annually, yet digital homogenization indoors encrypts diversity. Meanwhile, traditional print media consumes 650 tons of materials yearly. A tension between culture reach and ecological cost demanding urgent resolution. So our three-pronged charm framework revives culture DNA through three parts. First is gen translation, mining artifact like Fujian's earthen building inspired 3D typography. Second is tradition modern senses, merging calligraphy with minimalist fronts like Thunder Yohei. And the third is teach-driven expression, AR project, like Tsinhua's movable type slash material used by 82%. This is our case studies. So this dynamic model bridge theory and practice by embedding circular economic principles. It quantifies culture identity while tracking carbon footprints, directly advancing UN SDGs 11 sustainable cities and 12 responsible consumption. Balance tips and sabbatical remains critical. Digital standardization transcends regions' crypt diversity, while cross-culture misinterpretation persists. 42% semantic distortion in global context demands AI-enhanced semantic mapping. So we propose metaversal Oracle Bonds Crypt Museum and hybrid toolkits merging Arabic geometry with Hans joke, a post-global design language respecting cultures specific while embedding universal dialogue. So sustainable character design isn't technique optimization, it's an ethical mandate. Our framework provides biodegradable installation, and AR can preserve 5,000 years old wisdom while meeting digital age needs. Let's redefine culture sustainability not as preservation in amber, but as living systems with heritage fruit innovation. Together, we can ensure Chinese character remain vibrant, ecological, and systematic focus on global civilization. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for presenting your paper. It's like interesting intersection between heritage and the digital age of preserving something that's really important. Thank you so much. I'm sure it's much more complex than this, and the importance of your work. Thank you so much for sharing. Stay with us. We have one more presentation from your colleague, I suppose, also from Mongolian University. And I would like to invite for the next presentation Professor Tumenbult Darzevek. Did I
Yes.
pronounce it well?
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us, Professor. We are in collaboration for the second time, I believe, and we are so happy to have you among us again. It's a great honor and pleasure
Yes, me too.
to have you as a participant. So, if you don't mind, I would just read your title of your paper, and later on you can continue with your presentation. So the title of your work is Research on Common Characteristics on the Mongolian Symbolic Image. Please welcome.
Okay. Thank you for the invitation, and I'm very happy to participate in this very nice conference again. So, can you see my display
Yes,
now?
we can. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, today I would like to present one part of our research which is going on now, and it's called Research on Common Characteristics of Mongolian Symbolic Image. So, I'm going on the introduction of statement of problem, and okay, there are many writing resources about Hung or Shunu or Hunu in Mongolian. This we called our ancestors. And the first writing resource uh, become from 145 years before Christ. It is Han Dynasty's, nowadays Chinese historian Sima Qian, and who wrote first known historical records about Huns. Then followed Bangu and Huang Shualing, all Han Dynasty's historians. And then in 300 years after Christ, there was some uh, Latin writing resources about Huns. It was Amanius Marcellinus, Greek warrior, and but there is some difference in between, about 400 years. So the it is same nation or same ethnic groups, we don't know still. So it was a very interesting way how to make this connection of these two histories, if there are really Huns or different ethnic groups. So we are going to make some archaeological sources to prove it. So there are many archaeological reports provided by Institute of Mongolian Archaeology, and some many joint archaeological expeditions, Mongolia and Soviet Union first, then Mongolia and Japan, and Mongolia and Korea. Also, I put there some Vasil Parvan Institute of Archaeology from Romania, because they in Romania they found some tomb, they discovered it and excavated it and found many artifacts from there, and they declared that it is from Hun dynasties. Uh, Preserved artifacts. So it was very interesting fact that is there any similarity, or it is really descendants of the Huns who was observed from uh, Simatsian's history before 400 to 500 years. So it was the main reason what we started our this project. And as you can
Professor,
see on the display,
I'm
okay.
sorry to interrupt you. Have you maybe entered the full screen? Because we only see the first page of your presentation. And
Oh,
if you
really, really,
exit,
I'm sorry. I'm
it's
sorry.
okay. It's okay. If you
Okay.
exit the full screen, maybe we
Yep.
can. Perfect. Perfect. That's nice. That's
So
nice. Thank you so
maybe I need to present again, yeah?
much. You can go ahead however you want to.
Okay.
Just don't go into the full screen. Just leave it as it is. That's going to be better.
Okay. Stop and I'm sorry. Share screen again and select enter. Yeah, maybe this one.
That's
Can
going to
you
be
see
all.
now?
That's good. That's good.
Okay, okay, okay.
Thank you
So
so
I'm
much.
sorry for
Thank
this
you.
inconvenience. Okay, okay. As I mentioned, some writer resources and this tomb, which was found in Romania. And okay, now you can see that there is some artifacts which was found in 1924 when uh, Soviet Union's archaeological expedition found these unique artifacts and they cut out some part. And now the main part is located in St. Petersburg's uh, museum. Then just a small part is located in Mongolia. And now you can see that in this wonderful carpet from felt is there is uh, very nice images, graphics that there is some two kind of animals fighting to each other, and it is kind of this symbolic meaning that it is become from Hunu periods. It is from nomadic people's creation. So we are uh, now proposing to use consumer culture theory and semiotic theories together to create what is the interpretation of this great work. So we just made some collected many datas from archaeological expeditions, which was provided in Mongolian territory. And we collected many datas on that and we compared that. We found that this kind of tombs called slab grave culture, and it was similar in as in Rome, which was found in Romania. So we can find this kind of clue that it was same nation and same cultural uh, these cultural elements. So we can do next project that to clarify where is that is cultural things and we can interpret in semiotic theory. So this is our discussion. So really the written sources of Hun is not enough. Always it was written by those people who was defeated by Huns. So it is not really real history. It is there is some complicated disorder. And the second is we can make this consumer cultural theory with semiotics to create some good interpretation on that issue. It's all. So najlepsze chwała za Waszą pozorność. Thank you for your attention.
Perfect. Thank you for this nice Slovenian input. It's always interesting when I'm looking at the papers who are coming from Mongolian university with this really, really strong cultural awareness and heritage. And I'm enjoying every time when I'm going through them and something that we can learn from, definitely. Thank you for sharing this important paper. As I'm reading now at the bottom right corner, Doman will include all of you presenters. Hello back again, my dear friends. Perfect. You're still here with me. We are still holding on. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Unfortunately, we have not got the chance to join with one associate professor who is coming from University of Alberta, Canada. However, you are here and you shared your really great works, and I really encourage you, if you have managed to do so in between, to maybe write some kind of question for somebody, or maybe a comment or anything. I really encourage you to do so. uh, so without any like firm that I would say, can you ask, you just take whatever you want and just fly from there and ask questions if you have for somebody. Um, yeah. Did I interrupt somebody? Somebody is join. Ah, Julia is with us as well. Okay. Maybe I will start and just ask maybe a question, maybe randomly, maybe not regards to the paper. Um, what is your personal view on sustainability? Not in this grandiose manner, in a sense, uh, of showing the best picture of yourself in the best presentation, that it's like some kind of show off manner, but I really want to like see your authentic point of view, in a sense. How do you like see in micro or micro environment the importance of sustainability? And yeah, I'm really interested in that, if you don't mind sharing.
Okay, I can start.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, okay. So sustainability is very familiar to nomadic people. We have big respect to nature, and we always somehow find the way how we can uh, make this correlation with natural phenomena. So I think that it is a very best way to just love the nature. It could be some kind of the sustainability. This is not just design or not just technology. This is just to be human being. It could be some sustainability, I think.
Very nice spot. Thank you so much. Somebody else would like to
Right.
share?
So I can say a few words. Okay, do you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I think that my field is spatial planning. Sustainability is important, but most important thing, sustainability require real world projects. We need to real life application. So my paper is a little different other paper mostly, not directly related to design issues, but I think that for all academic professions and areas, application and real world projects are important for sustainability.
I agree. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Somebody else?
Hi, Almina, and hello,
Hi.
everyone.
Hey.
Yes. So I would like to just add that while I agree with both those perspectives, I do think that sustainability is very contextual to where you live, and it has a lot to do with, I think, the cultural aspects of it as well. Um, and I don't think it's about reinventing the wheel. It's about recognizing what we can learn from the past and what we can also look at in terms of technology and how we can merge them together. Um, so yeah, that's what I think sustainability is.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. Vanya. Chagri, yeah.
I would also like to add a few words to Sana. I think I really agree with that approach, because when we talk about sustainability, the first thing comes to our minds is environmental sustainability, but we also foster like social sustainability, cultural sustainability, because as we all know, there are lots of things to learn from the past and maybe adapt it to the future or today's scenarios. And also another important thing is, if we like consider the three pillars of sustainability as economic, ecological, and social, I think the best solutions relies on where these concepts crush each other, not solely depending on one of them. When two or three of them comes together, I think the best examples comes from that part, I can say.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this input. Yeah, and we have last two, just only if you want to share a few thoughts. Yeah, I really want to thank you all for taking your time and sharing your papers and your knowledge and experience and enriching our international conference. Each and every one of you brings such a unmeasurable treasure and to this happening, and I hope you get a little bit of satisfaction, not just hard work from it. And we're gonna send you maybe a little bit of questionnaire to make this conference even better for the next year. Maybe gonna see you alive. I would definitely be happy to see you and everyone at the faculty. But however, I just really wanted to say once again, thank you. We're going to try to publish the book of proceedings. I will not say as soon as possible, but definitely soon. And before we're going to publish it, we're going to send it to you to go through it, just to see if there are any kind of mistakes, so you can correct it, to preview it, and then we're going to go ahead and publish it. So if you want to say or share any kind of thought, I encourage you to do so. Otherwise, I just want to say again, thank you for sharing, and thank you for being here, and thank you for taking your time and writing your papers. I really appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, yeah, hosting us.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.